Primal is a new film that stars Nicolas Cage and is also bad. In this movie, Cage plays a big game hunter who has just captured a rare white Jaguar. He takes a boat ride back home to the U.S. where he is joined by Kevin Durand, a criminal who is being escorted by some federal government types back stateside so he can go on trial for his evil deeds. You will not be surprised to learn that he escapes and kills a bunch of people on board. He also lets Cage's deadly animals out of their cages, but that's not as important as you might think based on the poster. The crew must stop the bad guy before he takes over the boat and escapes. My biggest problem with the movie is that it goes for the usual action movie cliches but fails even at those. The story is your typical one man versus an army of antagonists in an enclosed space that you saw a lot in films in the 80s and 90s. Think Die Hard or Under Siege or Sudden Death or Air Force One. Or more recent films like Skyscraper or Olympus Has Fallen or Blackwater. But the one man going up against impossible odds is Kevin Durand. He's all by himself, he's chained up, and he's on a boat with dozens of people who want him dead. The odds are staggeringly not in his favor. But he overcomes these obstacles with his cleverness and determination. The problem with this is he's the villain, and it doesn't work. It's satisfying to watch John McClane beat the bad guys. It's not satisfying watching the good guys in Primal blow a huge lead and keep losing to Durand because they're stupid. There's this incredibly dumb scene in which Durand, after having escaped, casually goes and talks to the engineer about how he might, theoretically be able to take over the ship. And the guy just tells him. Did no one think to give this guy a heads up that there's a dangerous criminal on the loose? There's also this terrible scene in which a bunch of primates are let loose in the kitchen. The cook just decides to pick a fight with them, resulting in him getting ripped to pieces. I don't know what he expected. The feds make this laughably half-hearted attempt to save him by gently ramming their shoulders into the door and banging on the window. They just kind of give up after a minute and leave him to die. This type of poor directing plagues the film. So many scenes end with Durand running away, and we cut to the next scene in which the hero characters are off onto the next thing. Why don't they ever chase him? You can't just end a scene and start a new one with these unanswered questions. Our brains are going to try and fill in the gaps, and we're going to be very frustrated when we can't. On top of all the bad writing and directing, the film is just incredibly cheap. The color is highly desaturated and the CGI is quite poor. I was wondering why they weren't making more use of the deadly animals in this film called Primal. But when I saw them, it made sense. The movie is so cheap they look straight out of 2004. The only positive things I can say about this is that I did like some of the cast. Durand channels John Malkovich and is having fun as the villain. And Cage is wonderful as an obnoxious American who thinks he's smarter than everybody. But this film was overall a waste of time, and I will be giving it a 3 out of 10.